We bring in Iron Eagle, who just called Jaguars Bills with Mike Mayock on Westwood One. Hi, Ian. How are you, sir?
I had the full Mayock effect, Rich. The full Mayock effect. He had red meat the night before the game. That is a rarity to see Mayock go for red meat. So that just showed you the kind of ferocious mentality he had for the playoff weekend in Jacksonville.
Now, I listened to much of the game with you and Mike, but for those who might not have heard it, how does one describe 17 punts? How does one paint that word picture, Ian?
Yes, it takes a creative soul to attack that from a play-by-play perspective. You know what? My expectation level going in was that we were not going to have much offense, so I wasn't really that shocked at the final score, at the way the game turned out, and how the game played out. Buffalo hung in there. Bills made enough plays to be in it down the stretch. It was a shame that Tyrod Taylor went down with the injury because it would have been exciting to see a couple of plays. I thought Peterman might be able to carve himself into Buffalo lore.
He had that shot. He had that shot. His first snap was fourth down, and he converted it.
Yep.
Kept it alive, man. That was it.
Yeah, but ultimately, you were talking about a prime-time defense with Jacksonville. Buffalo had a tough time generating offense to begin with, going against that D. And that's really, to me, the interesting narrative to this game with Pittsburgh. If Jacksonville can hang, if they can make it intriguing in the fourth quarter, the defense is going to have to create some things on their own because they just can't score with this Steelers squad. They can't. They're not equipped to do that on offense. As good as Fournette was in the first half of the year, there has been a drop-off, and they've leaned more on Bortles. The problem was we saw some of the old Bortles last week compared to the Bortles that we had seen from Week 10 to Week 15, and they're hoping maybe he can conjure up some of the memories from late in the season and not the playoff game against Buffalo.
Well, I'm gonna ask you this question that a lot of people are asking, and I'm going to infuse it with the caveat that you are a lead pipe wielding professional who calls multiple sports. No, seriously, I am being serious here. You are. Okay. And you call football, basketball, you call multiple sports. You've been around professional athletes of all shapes and sizes, so you know how difficult it is to reach the pinnacle of the NFL. But with the play calling that we saw, do you think, and at times where Jacksonville just flat out just took the ball out of Bortles' hands, do you think Blake Bortles was playing scared on Sunday, Iron Eagle?
Yeah, I think in the context of that description, yes. I believe that Bortles didn't want to make a big mistake. It probably was pounded into his mind over and over again. Do not turn the ball over. Do not hand them a gift. And the reality is they won because of that. He did just enough with his legs. That's not going to work against Pittsburgh.
Right.
So that mentality, which was fine, gets you a playoff win and gets you to the next step. The bigger picture for Jacksonville is not even just this week, Rich. It's down the road when they have to make large decisions about their roster and whether or not Blake Bortles is going to be back at $19.1 million next year. These are the kinds of games that determine your fate. And look, you've been around this a long time, as have I. When you're picked third overall in the draft, when you're paid a ton of money, there is a certain expectation level that comes with that. And because of it, that's why Bortles gets a lot of the criticism that he gets. And also because he hasn't produced consistently in the passing game. We just haven't seen enough consistent production. There have been flashes. There have been moments. But if you look at him and the totality of who he is, he's not obviously in that upper echelon of quarterbacks. He's in the mid to late area of assessing QBs because he just hasn't been able to do it year in and year out. He doesn't throw the ball with confidence.
Yeah, the dropping, the shotgun snap, picking it up and running for the first down. By the way, the worst Statue of Liberty play I've ever seen. That's just not going to cut it against the Pittsburgh Steelers this week.
No.
It's not. And it's interestingly enough, when he was drafted third overall at the Combine that year, the talk was he could be the next Ben Roethlisberger. Size, arm, legs, and Big Ben, as we recall, went to the Bill Cowher School of Game Management as he took the Steelers to their first Super Bowl win under Cowher that year. And good Lord, of all the players that they're taking on right now, I just don't see it. What do you think the Steelers team will look like going into this game, Ian?
Well, certainly the first game's come up a lot, and we're responsible for that, but they're responsible for that. They brought it up right away. The media is going to hearken back to it, but Roethlisberger himself admitted to the fact that he wanted Jacksonville again. That was an embarrassing day for him. 5 interceptions. That was, if you remember, after the game where he, in my mind, sarcastically said, maybe I just don't have it anymore.
Right.
And everybody took that and ran with it. Roethlisberger might be thinking about, this is it. It's over. No, it's not. It's not over. Roethlisberger, you make a great point. When he came into the league, there were those thoughts that he was unrefined, that he wasn't a polished thrower, that this would have to develop. Well, it did develop. He's become one of the best QBs in the NFL. He's a Hall of Fame player. Bortles has not been able to make that turn in his career, the hitch that he still has, inconsistency in his mechanics. Roethlisberger sorted all of that out. And I think there is a real sense of trying to reverse the conversation from what happened earlier in the year. This is just a better Pittsburgh team than they were in Week 5. Juju Smith-Schuster wasn't a part of it yet. I think defensively they've gained some steam. The loss of Ryan Shazier is huge. We know how immense that is, the heart and soul of that defense. But offensively, they are now the unit that I thought they were going to be going into the year. It took a while, but they're there now.
Ian Eagle calling Jaguars Steelers on CBS Sunday morning, joining me here on the show. Any word on Artie Burns that you might have heard? He left practice yesterday. Any first blood? You're not on the ground yet in Pittsburgh, correct, Ian? You're not there yet?
No, not yet. We're meeting with the Steelers tomorrow, meeting with the Jaguars on Saturday. Obviously, we'll try to get a little more insight when we sit down.
Okay.
The latest I had heard, probably the same that you had heard, the initial feeling was worse than it turned out to be.
Okay.
And now the hope is they might be able to get him ready to go for Sunday.
Now, when you sit down with the Jaguars in Marone, you show up 5 minutes early, right? Correct?
Yes. I'm a 12 minutes early kind of guy. I want to take that number and I want to make it even more impressive. I'm 12 minutes early.
What about Fouts? Is he?
Fouts? Yeah, even with a gold jacket guy, you think maybe he'd have a little leeway. He's like a 9 minutes early guy.
Yeah, and what is the big show that we're going to promote on CBS on Sunday? What's the what's the number one comedy in America right now, Ian? What's the number one drama that's going to be on the power circuit when you read that card, and you nail it, by the way, you stick the landing when you read those cards.
I care. I care a lot. The blue cards, I haven't seen the preview yet. I would say young Sheldon's going to get a major run this week.
Okay. Can you work
I don't want to give too much away.
Can you work in a Rich Eisen show promo? Just sneak it in there. What do you think?
Hold on, let me write that down.
Hold on. Here we go.
Young Sheldon.
Yes, working in between young Sheldon and 2 Broke Girls is done, right?
I think so,
They're done.
Okay, they're broke. They're just flat out broke.
Though. Okay. Rich, you can watch it any day of the week in Sri Lanka. It's airing
so in between young Sheldon,
is that doctor show on CBS now?
And the Good Doctor. Right? Is the Good Doctor or CBS? Or I think that's Fox.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Young Doctor?
So no. Let's just go easy, guys. Come on. 2.5 Men. Well, that's done too. I'm sorry.
They're done.
They're done too. SWAT. Okay. Shamar Moore, SWAT. Young Sheldon. Work in the Rich Eisen show where anything can happen. And it's one of my favorite shows. Just work that in there. And as a matter, could you play the theme so you can work on it? Do you mind, Ian?
That's good. Coming up, Young Sheldon, and one of my favorite shows on television and radio, The Rich Eisen Show. Only CBS.
See? What do you think?
Yep.
Rip the knob off.
It's going to be my last CBS show.
No, just then quickly segue to SWAT so Moonves doesn't notice.
I didn't work Shamar Moore in. And, of course, the very attractive Shamar Moore in SWAT.
Fouts will look at you like, what the hell is happening over there?
He looks at me anyway that way.
But how many of those you get from Mayock? I get one of those every 5 minutes when I sit next to him.
I got I got one last week where I thought that it might get physical. He gave me one of those like, really? Like, really? Is that what you're saying? Because we talked about Cappy, who was a backup lineman in the game.
Uh-huh.
And I said, that would be as if your name was Mikey. And he wasn't following along in that moment.
And you have to look at him and say, Mike, we're on our 17th punt. If I have to use the word hierarching parabola to describe that one more time, you know?
He gave me two dudes at one point. He called me a dude.
Yeah, that's right.
Second quarter, and then early fourth, I got a second dude. I got double duded.
I have been on the business end of a double dude from Mike Mayock.
Yeah.
What's the name again? Mikey? That's a good
Mikey.
That's good. And I look forward to the call, man. I always enjoy our chats on this show. Thanks for calling in, brother.
Me too, Rich. Yeah, really excited, man.
You got it. That's Iron Eagle.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.